Outside Attack.
Yeah, I think same.
And Handsome Dan.
Hello.
Hey, I like how yours is just hello.
Hi there.
Hey, so we got to do something cool that I've been talking about on Instagram, and well, not Instagram, on Twitter for the last little while. That people who might know, who follow us, because we do have some followers, we're getting some traction, and that traction got us this this cool little thing that we're getting to do today.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, Rocksalt Releasing and Tri-Coast Worldwide are an animation, well, not animation, they're movie studios and PR teams and production. I think Rocksalt is a distributor, and they asked us to review a little tiny Argentinian independent film. So, very independent. So we have watched it. We sat through it. We, I think for the most part, enjoyed it. I think we had a fun time watching it. And now we're going to review it. And that movie's called Lava by Ayar Blasco. Blasco? Am I saying it right? Blasco, right?
I'm not sure.
I
know more than I do.
Probably. I don't know. Well, rarely, but in this one, maybe. Just because I read the tagline.
That's fair.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so Lava is an Argentinian animated film starring Janine Garofalo, written by Ayar Blasco, Nicholas Brito, Salvador Santos, I want to say it right, but it's now being released worldwide. They were kind enough to send us the link to the screener. We watched it, and now we're going to talk about it, because you two are probably the most animation friendly out of the guys who we can talk about this kind of stuff with. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we're animation geeks.
That sort of stuff, indie animation shorts and movies.
Yeah, I think so. So let's go. Let's just jump right into it. How about Dan? You go first. What did you think of Lava starring Janine Garofalo?
It was just it was kind of like a slow burn. Like a lot of when you go back, like after thinking about the movie, like the overall concept of the movie is really cool.
Yeah.
You do notice that it is obviously like a lower budget animation, but like there's lots of stuff on YouTube like that people make because what are their options, right?
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, the story idea was really cool. They mixed together, I think, a lot of different cultures in it. Like,
definitely.
I think.
Mm-hmm. No, I think.
What I can remember, like weird lore stories and like, I don't know, it seemed kind of neat. Like, I mean, I'm obviously heavily into Dungeons and Dragons right now, and it had a lot of like themes similar to that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was neat.
That was very cool. I mean, it kind of had that. It had like Aryan mythology in a way, like Norse mythology. It had a lot of weird kind of like allusions to even like the neck. Well, I mean, it starts off where you've got a tattoo artist who has she's giving a neck tattoo to just a random dude for all we know. And then is that our clap sync? It gives
that was fly.
Came out of nowhere.
Continue, sorry.
So she gives a random tattoo to a dude. And I remember like when she's giving it in the scene, Dan is like, I felt like you could feel it. Like you can feel a tattoo punching the skin.
Because the slow motion, because I've seen so many of those slow motion tattoo machine videos.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen them before?
I have seen those before.
Oh, yeah, and the way the skin ripples and everything, it's, like, very accurate.
Well, you can almost hear it. Like, even like the little splash of sound it was making, like, you'd almost hear that.
Yeah.
But
they did a good job on that.
They did a pretty good job. I mean, there is definitely better animation in lots of other sources, but the story was pretty engaging, I think.
Well, yeah, and then there was aspects of it that had really cool animation, so, I mean, it depends on what they're using. I mean, we don't know a lot about the process they had to make it.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a one-man show.
Right, but you can at least try to overlook that because, if you looked at the story and thought, oh man, if someone that I knew or was a fan of did this, but really held on to the story arcs and stuff, it would be very cool, I think.
Oh, for sure. No, definitely.
Every aspect of it that we went through, even I remember Raj saying how interesting the comic book aspect of where the communication and the rebellion was done or whatever.
Well, yeah, let's get into that. It was like essentially what we know from it is she's giving somebody a tattoo, and that tattoo may have a deeper meaning that has some sort of level of two alien armies or interdimensional armies waging a propaganda war against each other, and it's tattoo artists.
Travelers.
Was it?
No, it's just I was pulling Alex Jones there. So. Interdimensional travelers.
Contrails like the frog's gay. But it really, you know what? For conspiracy theorists, it was kind of neat because you've got these tattoo artists who are trying to save the world of what they feel like. And then you've got people being hypnotized by their phones. And then you've got interdimensional space cats, which is that happens. Yeah. And then you've got these people writing books that are also trying to, they think, save the world through literature.
Right, through a different means or whatever, but still in a weird form of manipulation, like the way the phones worked or something like that.
Yeah, the same type of thing.
The idea was it was two different ends of the same side.
Yeah. It was like
what's the saying? Two different ends of the same thing or something.
It was like a two-headed snake, both trying to eat each other. They're both trying to fight each other, but they don't realize it's the same thing.
Is they do that every cycle. I think the idea was that they did it cyclically.
Oh,
that it always ended up coming out that way. Like later, I thought about a lot of this after, which is hilarious. I remember like the week after, I had thought about the movie a bunch.
I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Like
it was really odd.
like, oh, okay.
You're trying to find a deeper meaning.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was neat though. Like I'm just saying, like there was probably a lot more to it, and we, given the circumstances they had to work with, it probably would have been pretty an interesting series, like a TV show, probably. I thought.
Well, that's like Raj kind of mentioned too, right? Like if they had enough money, you were saying that they could definitely get a series out of this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think there was like their ambition far away exceeded their
ability
capability to tell that story.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, but like a cool story though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Raj, what did you think? Like when you were like had some time now, like you had about a week between when we saw it and now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, I share Dan's viewpoint on it pretty much. But I think what I took from it was that the story itself was it was very that was a very eclectic story, and I found that they took the more I watched it because like I said, we're big animation fans, so you could see some of the just scenes alone, just some certain scenes got their inspiration or were just taken straight out of other animes that I've seen. Yeah. So like when the tank was there and it shot at the witch, that was for me anyway. That was taken straight out of Akira. When that tank fired at Tetsuo and it had no effect on him.
It was as soon as it happened, you were like, "That's out of Akira. That's an Akira movie."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like there's good influences and like playing on that the existential terror theory behind with the cats, like they're cats, but like there's all these video game theories and stuff about like an existential horror, right? Like
exactly.
You're mixing in like Norse lore with existential space terror.
Well, without giving it away, there's a moment in the movie where everybody kind of has an idea that they've been hypnoptized, but they don't know what's going on. And when they come out of it, the next morning there's gigantic cats sitting on all the buildings in Buenos Aires.
Right.
Yeah, and nobody, and that's like you said, existential dread. They're not doing anything, but they're just definitely there, and they're ominous, and nobody knows why.
They're bigger than you, and you don't know what they can do to you, right? Like it's terrifying, right?
Well, I mean, I've always I joke about how a 1,200-pound dog will let you ride it to work, but a 1,200-pound cat will eat you.
Yeah.
If
it was dogs, no one would care.
Yeah, nobody would care. Backside Attack, you had something about that?
I was actually looking for other reviews on it. I bookmarked one to see if anyone else see what other people got out of it, or anyway, like just maybe who were like maybe paying more attention to it than we were. Mm-hmm. There was one where I found, and I'll just read. This is just like very short. So this is not the first cinematic apocalypse effort by Argentinian Ayar Blasco, whose El Sol 2010, you can see that online. Mm-hmm. So in Lava, a welcome COVID-19 satire that doesn't take itself that seriously enough. For youngster Lazaro Annabelle Nidia and the shy but competent tattoo artist Deborah get into a mission to save the world. The starting point is the lack of screen diversity, when all screens are suddenly tuned into an incomprehensible-looking Jurassic Park charcoal and ancestor images, which make them all hypnotized at the same time. A chaos will suddenly erupt in Buenos Aires. Normal traffic becomes a thing to worry, and giant cats are ready to invade the city unless a suitable antidote is found. And perhaps there is an antidote. A Lava graphic novel creator, which is the voiceover that we saw, ensures all characters that old school comics are immune to global surveillance.
Well, yeah,
do you guys remember that part?
There is a whole other part of it where she kind of like stumbles across a graphic novel.
Yeah,
and that's where the title comes from.
That's immune to like what's going on there. That's why like you could order from there for free that gun. You just have to like, because like, if you want to order something, you just go online, and in that graphic novel, like the old school comics, you have to like write that thing in there, and it says the only thing that characters need to do is follow the instructions.
Yeah, I mean, not to like piggyback on somebody else's review, but yeah, there is a whole section in there, like you said, like old school comics, where you would just get that little clip where you take the coupon out and you order whatever, like X-ray specs. Yeah, X-ray specs. But in this, they're able to order like a gun that would come in like multiple parts. It's like one would be a toaster, and one is like a brush and a doll, and you put all this weird shit together
for the reloader thing.
Yeah. I thought there's a lot of like self-reflection in this movie. Or like when they're just addressing the audience themselves.
Yeah, there was a little bit of fourth wall breaking, like some weird fourth wall. They kind of knew they were in an animation, which is a little bit weird sometimes.
And like we said, that like some of that stuff when we were watching it, we're just like, oh, whatever, right? But like then again, that could be all. I guess the 3-word cliche that we were all sharing was lost in translation.
That did feel like it. There were certain parts of it that felt like there was a better translation out there, but because it's being kind of forced into English a little bit, that maybe we're missing some like subtext or some real like plot points that were just glazed over, right?
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Yeah, and the movie is like you can like I think half of it is just like you can take it on just a visceral level where you just look at it and be like, hey, the art stands for something.
Yeah.
But half of it is story driven. But the story was like we were saying it's all over the place. So like was that written the same way it was written in the original script in Spanish, or is it a direct translation? So we don't know how close it is. So yeah, I guess that was my take from it. But having said that, it was I've never seen something like that before. So that's
for sure.
For any movie that is different from what I'm used to, I'm always intrigued. So that's what I liked about it.
There's a point when we kind of said that if you are even remotely interested in seeing a giant snake come to life out of a phone screen, gobble up a bunch of people, crawl into a cage, and then have a gigantic eagle carry the cage away, this is your kind of movie. This is and like, right up your alley.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you don't know what part of that stuff was symbolism, whether it was just there for the sake of just being weird. I don't know. So
it happened. You're right. I mean, a lot of that stuff, maybe we don't know what they're really seeing. Like maybe we could read into it really deeply, where what they're seeing is what they're imagining it looks like, or something like that. And so then we're living through them. Like we're not as omniscient as most TV shows we watch nowadays, where you know everything going on, the character doesn't know.
Yeah,
you're kind of in it with them.
Yeah, I guess in the end, if I had to sum up this movie, I would say it's not about. I think what it more leaned on, and I could be wrong, but like I think what it more leaned on is just it's kind of a play on like during those kind of moments. I think the whole thing was about what I took from it was like how to stay together in moments of crisis.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And the problems and the problems that can arise from that, and how you deal with them. I think that's that's the main thing I took away from it. And I think they told that story pretty well. Yeah, so I guess is that
a good reason to say why remember the little convenience store clerk girl that killed everybody?
Well, yeah. Like halfway through.
Is that why she left? Because she's like, you guys are all so bitchy. I don't have time for this kind of stuff.
I think
that makes more sense to me now that you explained it that way.
Both you kind of hit on something. Like Raj, you're saying how like when you're watching it, you think it's this idea of like it is togetherness in times of crisis. And then Dan, you mentioned earlier about how it was like the not the existential dread. You said how it was we're told too much. We're told too much in like common TV shows.
Oh, most times we were omniscient. We know everything, but that the character doesn't know.
Exactly.
Right?
And the Asian girl is kind of like that, where she is almost like a viewer. Like she's watching this. She's involved in this because there is a real crisis that happens in the middle. There's the cats, the snakes, the aliens, whatever it is. They all kind of do a Walking Dead style journey. And then that gigantic witch shows up. And this is all like, if anybody's listening, you got to watch it.
Well, I feel like the witch is like, you remember how they said just don't pay attention to it? Well, they said don't look at it. Like, it's like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, right? Like, exactly. You willed it into existence. It's your fault it's there.
Well, that's like propaganda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why they couldn't kill it. That's why it was unstoppable. And
at one point, it slaughters people because it is like a propaganda machine. The more you pay attention to it, the more dangerous it is.
Yeah.
But then the little Asian girl is ultra capable. She knows what's going on. She reads all the characters right away. She gets bored of them, and she just fucks off.
Well, she tells them it's like, man, look, you're not going to get anywhere acting this way. And then that made a good example, as an example of what Raj is saying. Like,
yes,
it's showing you, these are the people you're with right now. You got to make it work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And like you said, she just took off. She's like, you know what? Yeah. Maybe she had her own problems to deal with, or be like, you know what? This is what not to do.
Well,
and she's like, you know what?
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Like, I don't need you guys.
She doesn't even
exposed them right to their face. Yeah. Told them the truth. She told them like, you know what? You're in love with this girl. You're just too afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
She doesn't just take off. Yeah. She like tells them exactly what's wrong with them, and then she tells them that's why I'm not here anymore. I'm out. Yeah. Like you said, like she reads the one girl is in love with the other girl, and that girl, her boyfriend is meaningless to her. She's like, you should be with her.
Yeah, she showed them. She showed the mirror right to them, and she's like, this is what this is why you guys aren't going to survive.
Yeah.
Or this is what you guys are doing wrong. And it's like, this is why you have to rectify. And that's why she went in, I guess when she met that guy afterwards, when she went in the apartment, and she just like said, she broke up with him right there and then, even though that guy didn't do anything.
No, he was oblivious. I mean, he kind of got kidnapped and became a tattoo artist just by accident. And then when he came back, everybody ditched him.
Alive.
Nobody's happy.
She was more pissed off than anything. Yeah, so it was just like misplaced guilt or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but like, yeah, it was odd. But she spoke her true feelings because that girl just said right to her face, he's like, you're just too afraid to admit it.
I can't say
you're in love with this girl.
So it's like for me, I can't say that I didn't enjoy the movie. I definitely enjoyed it because I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's clearly better animation out there. The story was pretty intriguing, and like I think we've said a couple times now, if they had more money and more time as like a Netflix series.
And yeah, a series. It shouldn't just be a movie. And that was one thing too, is maybe it was longer, maybe it's been edited down for distribution. Like that always happens.
Right.
We need a 90-minute movie, we need a 60-minute movie, we need a 2-hour movie. Like
exactly.
Here's your budget. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yep.
It was a wild ride, man. Overall, I think I'm on board if it ever gets remade. I'm definitely down, and I definitely enjoyed the story. If there was a comic book, I'd like to read the comic.
Yeah, I can
sure.
see it going really far in a comic book series.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like we're already invested. So if this goes off into something else, or whether in print or whether on screen, short story form, online, like YouTube series, whatever it is, we have the baseline of it right now, right? So if it gets fleshed out, I'm curious to see like how they could flesh it out and just be like told in a more, I guess, expansive format. We could be like, you know what, we learn more about the characters, we know more about the backstory.
Yeah.
If that's going to happen.
Yeah, who knows?
I'd be interested because the storyline is the idea of it is actually is like I said before, it's really cool. I like it.
It's very interesting. I thought like all the symbolism, the imagery, the propaganda, emo Hitler. I was on board with all that kind of stuff. So,
and this is us who don't know like that much about like what's going on in Argentina and like the history of it. Like like you obviously, Vic, you and Dan probably know more than I do. But like if I had that understanding, I'd be like, you know, I could be like, okay, I like this just on screen. There's nothing in the text like nothing in the story like emulates that, right? So like, but if you understand just by what you see on the screen, like either living in there or like growing up there, understanding what's going on there, that would have enriched us even more, I think.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Well, there were, I mean, clearly there was.
I just have crazy, unfounded conspiracy theories. That's what all those.
Yeah, exactly. We're just playing the guessing game.
No, for
That's
sure.
all I have.
But I mean, like, if you even have a vague idea of what happened in Argentina after World War II, there is
exactly, yeah.
That the tattoo is clearly some sort of Norse mythology. So you've got emo Hitler. You've got propaganda. You've got paranoia. You got tanks on the streets. So there is like a weird story. There's something being told to us that maybe like got lost in translation, like we always say. But they tried their best. And I mean, for me, I really feel like I enjoyed it. Despite the animation, I still enjoyed it. Yeah. Dan, what was your big takeaway? And how about you hit us with what your best idea of I don't want to tell people what the score was. You had a good score last time.
I have my rating system. It's
your rating system.
It was mostly just the overarching story and the lore that built into it once you finish it, but like knowing it at the end, like watching the whole thing and then knowing what the lore was more based around was great. I just wish I knew more about it earlier.
For sure.
But I gave it 9 out of 10 NASCARs.
9 out of 10 NASCAR.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was pretty good. Backside attack.
Pretty good
Raj,
NASCAR.
What did you take away and what was your score?
I like the weirdness, is, for lack of a better term, the weirdness of it. I would give it just how eclectic the story was, and the animation was just like, you know, it was not. I don't want to say it's crude because that's an insult to the animators, but like, but overall, I would give it 7 Leonardo throwing stars.
7. That's pretty good too. 7 Leonardo throwing stars are pretty sharp. So I mean, that's not a bad score. People got to understand 5 is average. So like if you're 5.1, you're above average. So
Five is like take it or leave it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I watched it. It's over with, and it was kind of interesting. 7 is like I want to see more of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And see where this goes. Yeah, and think that the potential is there. So I think that's why I would give it a 7.
I'm gonna go right in the middle of you guys. I'm pretty sure my ratings are mushrooms, because I was still throwing an homage to your earlier episodes with mushrooms and gold. And I'll go right in the middle. I will go right between you guys and give that 8. I'll sit right in the middle. And that's not because I'm trying to like be on the fence here. There are definitely problems, but if you look past the issues like the translation, like the crude animation and all that stuff, there's definitely something in there to pick at.
I'm invested if there was a chance to move forward with something else.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think the animation was like the characters themselves. At least it was consistent. There was no like, okay, her eye's not this big in one frame, and it's not. So the animation of the characters was consistent. The animation of the actual like action that was going through there, I think that's where it was lacking.
Yes.
So I think that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys noticed that too. So I think for me that's what the major. So it was more of a technical thing, but I can't really fault it. Like, who knows what the budget was, right? So
again, I don't look at them as like I'm not judging it that way. That's again like I think we brought up. I have in my past been the kind of person that's like I didn't like the way they did this X, Y, and Z, but in my head it's like, when was the last time you made one of those films?
Exactly.
Or you critiquing the lighting and the like. I've never animated an animated film in my life.
It's like when you.
I don't know what it takes. I don't know what they had to work with. Like
when you crap all over it.
That's it.
Yeah, right? I mean, like, the thing is, I've heard people say things like, I've seen better animation of Flipbook. It's like, well, have you ever made a Flipbook?
Yeah.
Like, have you?
It's like, I have seen some pretty amazing animation in Flipbook, but there's some really good animators using those Flipbooks.
Right?
Yeah, but that's the world we live in.
That's the world we're in. People are going to shit all over it. That's the one thing I feel like, what you said, the consistency in it. Because whenever there was a character who was inconsistently drawn, he was always a moron. Like, whenever the characters are drawn poorly, like one eye was big and the mouth was too wide and the head was weird, he was a moron. And he's going to get hit by a bus. Like, there's some pretty crude deaths. There are some pretty violent deaths in this movie.
Yeah.
There's always a guy with one big eye and one small eye.
Yeah, those the freaks are the ones who are drawn like the one who are like actual freaks in the movie, like, are the ones who are drawn like freaks.
They were drawn like freaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely hope that people get a chance to see this. It was worth watching. It's only an hour and a bit, so it's definitely like shorter than a movie.
Yeah, and it ends on a cliffhanger. So
that's true. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. And also, one thing I really liked was the short little bits afterwards. Like, I guess those were his scraps that he left on the editing floor, like just his throwaway stories.
Mini movies.
Yeah,
little mini movies.
Yeah, with Warner Brothers stuff and with Bugs Bunny and stuff like that. Those were
probably is that all royalty free now, because even Mickey Mouse is now.
Well, I don't think he necessarily drew them accurate enough to get into copyright trouble. So
that was
the Mickey Mouse one is like, when did that expire?
You mean like Steamboat Willie, right?
Pardon?
Steamboat Willie and those really early ones.
No. Isn't the licensing for the Mickey Mouse logo, like, you can use it now because they didn't renew it or something, or it expired?
So it's open domain?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, like a bunch of people started doing Mickey Mouse animation stuff because they knew it was going to expire.
Really?
Don't quote me on that, but like, the thing is, there's a bunch of Mickey Mouse stuff out there that I've seen, and it's like, there's no way Disney would okay that if it was.
I wonder. I mean, that could be funny. I know there's
like a super dark Vietnam Mickey Mouse story that I want. Again, this is some local independent animators, but it's like a whole fake story about Mickey Mouse, but if he went to Vietnam.
Really?
And it's super dark, and like him and Goofy do a couple tours, and it fucks them up.
Yeah,
like,
Dan, you're right. On January 1st, 2024, we'll see the expiration of the copyright for Steamboat Willie, and with it, Disney's claim to the film star Mickey Mouse.
Wow.
Copyrights for Superman, Batman, Disney, Snow White, and Early Loot will all fall into the public domain between 2031 and 2035.
That's amazing. Because I know it's like 75 years after they're made, or a certain amount of time after the author dies, copyrights are just up for grabs. Well, the licensing.
There's like a period where it's like open season or something, right?
Yeah, it falls into public, like you said, public domain, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty.
So everyone's making as much stuff as they can, or trying to make, or going to make stuff.
That's
just
crazy.
Don't fuck with Disney, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun to see what happens there.
Yeah, there's 4 years left on the Mickey Mouse's copyright term.
Could you imagine that's your bread and butter?
Disney's been changing this for the past God knows how many years. So
so they've been avoiding it.
Yeah,
it's called the Sonny Bono Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998.
Yeah, there is something that if you like, I mean, that's why Fox was able to hold on to the X-Men, and that's why I think Fox also had Batman, right? So if you keep creating content, he can hang on to the copyright for a certain amount of time.
It's like not selling a property because it's better just to hold on to it and let it
hold on to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to let this house fall apart because it's better than selling the property.
We're going to keep on going, but we're going to just end this segment by saying thanks to Rocksalt Releasing, to Tri-Coast Studios, Tri-Coast Worldwide, letting us come on in and review Lava, starring Janine Garofalo, by Ayar Blasco. I hope I'm saying all that stuff right. Definitely worth watching. The three of us enjoyed it. We're going to keep on going. There's going to be just probably a little bit of music for when this ends and whatever. People can, or just keep listening because the podcast is going to keep on going.
Well, that's the idea, right?
That is the idea. And
that's the idea.
That is the idea. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty fun to see what happens when Superman falls in the public domain. And then you.
Yeah, right. Well, so isn't someone just going to buy up the movie rights or already own all the movie rights? Like, how does that work?
Well, I think clearly Warner Brothers is still going to own all the stuff they make. But I wonder, I mean, I don't really know exactly how that works. I actually have a cousin who does this for a living or is studying it in school or going back to school for this with copyright laws and whatnot. It'd be fun to talk to her about how that's going to work. But
that essentially just means that anybody can make stuff. It's just that that's your property's version of the thing.
I think so.
Right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, like I was reading last night, I didn't get too deep into it, but Conan the Barbarian, I think Marvel owns a chunk of Conan that they're able to do. Yeah, and then you've also got Dark Horse is making those Conan comics with Kurt Busiek and Kerry Nord. And then when Marvel got the rights back, they were calling it the Cimmerian at Dark Horse. So Dark Horse would just be like the Cimmerian featuring the story Red Nails, or the Cimmerian featuring the story It Lives or Came from the Crypt. But it wasn't Conan the Barbarian Red Nails. So I bet you it'll be kind of like that, where you can have your version of it, but your version doesn't get to be like Conan the Barbarian because Marvel's using that right now.
Is there a bunch of comics like that right now, the Cimmerian? Are these all new up-and-coming stuff?
Not brand new, but they were like a few years old. I think Cimmerian might still be going on.
I'm just trying to add to my list of things that I want to read that would probably be like a good, long, slow read. Because like these manga comics that I'm reading are great because there's 30, 40, 50 issues and they go on for 35 years somehow. I don't understand. I mean, but I'd love to read something like that ongoing, like Conan or the Cimmerian or, like whatever it is, and have like a 30-issue series that just runs, and that'd be great. Because I'm loving this manga now, man. I can't believe I'm such a... Well, I guess isn't in your 30s when you're supposed to become a weeb?
Oh, well,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I'm prime for settling into my weeb years now.
What was a weeb again? I remember. It's
just an ultra anime nerd, like a beyond.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna start ordering body pillows and shit with the people on them. Like my favorite manga character on.
Don't do it. You gotta put on like 45 pounds and a neck beard.
Well, that too. My neck beard's pretty good. I just have to trim it. I gotta keep it.
Well, that's good. You just got to get rid of all this.
Like, no. I'm gonna shave it to here and let this grow out. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh my god, all that weight. You gotta smell like nachos and just acne at McDonald's.
Mountain Dew and anime.
Yeah,
which I love.
Dan, do you have an Xbox, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have Game Pass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
you have to one
where you can stream games, right?
Yeah, like Netflix game. You have to get Halo.
Why?
Because you have to play Firefight with us and save humanity.
Yeah, but is it bro shooter style? Because I'm no good at those.
No. All it is like we play team based, so it's all of us. We play like 4 at a time. We play like 4 of us, and we just survive. It's like Aliens. You're in a bunker.
So it's just deathmatch with co-op deathmatch.
We play together. We're on the same team, and we just like hordes of like Covenant come at us, and we just have to survive.
Oh, cool. Okay,
it's like tower defense, right?
Yeah.
It's like Halo tower defense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't play online with other people because we're not that good. So
no, and I'm not good either. I haven't played Halo in 15 years.
Yeah. No, we just played like
just have fun and shoot shit.
Yeah, shoot shit and just like that.
You know what I'd love to do if I had a PC is play Valheim with you guys. Have you heard of that?
No, what is that?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's like Viking Minecraft. It's not Minecraft, but you get spawned and you have to sail out and build a boat and then there's Draugr and Viking Norse myth legend shit. You have to upgrade your guys. Yeah, and when you die, you got to get back on the boat, and it could take like 10 or 20 minutes to sail. Like the map is insanely huge, but you can play on closed servers.
But does it look like Minecraft?
Fun to play with you guys.
But what does it look? Does it look like Minecraft, or does it look like a?
No, it's like cartoony looking, kind of, but like Fortnite, but lower quality. Like it's beta right now, so it's very kind of like blocky looking, but it's it looks like Fortnite in the cartoon sense.
I like that though. I don't mind that we're getting back to that look.
You build stuff up. What's that?
I don't mind that we're getting back to that look. I like the look of that cartoony kind of, that.
Yeah, it doesn't all have to look ultra realistic, right?
Like
but
PS3.
I have a friend that plays it right now. He loves it. He said you just spend hours and hours and hours because you're just collecting stuff and building and like fighting monsters and it's with your friends.
Yeah.
Like,
I am down for old school games kind of making a little bit of a comeback. Like there's this kind of weird thing where we've got games from 10 years ago that they're polished now. They have that look from 10 or 15 years ago, but there's no load times. All the characters, the models are super polished, like that Fortnite kind of look. They run really smooth, and they're just like Breath of the Wild.
Okay, yeah.
I don't need to see every hair on the back of a horse.
So well.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's beautiful.
They just came out the remaster actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
They just announced it. They're gonna charge like $80 whatever for because the Nintendo can.
Man, I bought Skyrim 3 times.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, and it looked prettier every time though.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
Skyrim is by Bethesda, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Well, Dan, what's it called when the next one comes out? It's including Game Pass.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, I'll get it regardless, but
oh yeah, because it's part of Game Pass. You'll get it for free. It'll be part of your monthly subscription.
I never got deep into Skyrim as much as I did into Fallout, and I always felt like I should put some real effort into getting into Skyrim.
Like I'm playing them both right now, back to back, but I'm playing them. I've decided because I never did this before. I completely avoid the main storyline.
Yep.
And just play the game, and it's an entirely different game. Like, I don't follow any of the rules that are usually in place. Like, unfortunately, Fallout 4 is incredibly linear.
Yeah.
And if you don't have charisma, you can't pass any dialogue options at all. Like, I didn't realize how important that was.
That's a real bummer in that game.
Well, because New Vegas has got, like, you can be super smart, but a total asshole, and you can still win some conversations because of, like, your science level or whatever.
Well, I would always do the science, the lockpick, the strength.
Yeah.
And you're good to go.
Well, so I build characters where it's like high luck, high strength, and high intelligence, and then I dump all my other stats and slowly build them over the course of the game. And so you can wield like a decent weapon. Your critical chances are better. And in New Vegas, it's all luck. Everything is luck. But then in Fallout 4, luck is like, well, it's 50-50. But the thing is, I'm not even following the story, and it's so fun to play this game because it's. It
is kind of neat though how like in New Vegas, luck is super important because you're in Vegas.
Well, yeah, it's New Vegas, right? I love that they did that.
It's a really cool idea.
But then, like, same with Skyrim, I've added mods to both of the games for the first time as well.
Oh, get out!
And then Skyrim, I'm playing a magic build, which I've never done before, and it's incredibly difficult to build strictly a magic character.
Okay, let me ask you guys: did either of you ever get into Fallout 76?
No,
I played it once, and it's kind of a letdown from like the previous ones. Yeah. So Dan, if you can back me up on that, but like if you played the previous one, it is. Yeah.
Really?
Well, the thing is I don't know what Bethesda's doing, and there's 50-50 where people enjoy playing it, but also like it's been broken for so long, and then it seems like when they put out 4 was just like work the bugs out of the system for 76 because the settlement building is all involved in 76.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what 4 is about. Like, really, with Fallout, settlement building is so important. But then Fallout 76 is like a cash grab. Like, there's all this shit for everything for sale, all the outfits for sale. You don't meet anybody in there. There's no NPCs. Like, they only added NPCs in the last couple of years.
Oh, get out!
And it was like all these background stories that you just got from like holotapes and stuff.
That's weird.
And,
I don't like that.
And it was just broken as fuck. Like, completely. There's so many videos of guys who are like the 1,000 things that they found wrong with the game. Like, literally, like 1,000 glitches in that game.
I was talking to Raj about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, but
no. I think you're actually going to talk about what we were talking about. You go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was just. This is just like in reference to Dan's point about like where you have to. There's microtransactions. Dan, I think that's what the term you're looking for.
Yeah, sorry. That's just like. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like they had a sale. They had a Christmas sale where they upped the price of the Christmas looking stuff, the Christmas themed stuff.
That's great.
And they found out that all they did was up it for the sale to bring it back to its regular price. So, which is illegal. And they didn't say anything, and they didn't check, and someone reported them, and they had to change all the prices and give all these people discounts. And
that's so gross.
And it was to buy like a Santa hat and like a Christmas tree for your base, right?
That's like those President's Day mattress sales in the States. Where like all the mattresses are already hyped up. Like they jacked the prices up a month before. Then on President's Day, they drop all the prices down to regular price.
Yeah, and it's this old sales tactic that no one's really noticed, but then apparently there's something with doing it online that's illegal, or there's just one of the many videos I watched about it, because like I really wanted to play 76. All I've ever wanted was an online cooperative version of Fallout, like ever. And I don't want it to be an MMO. I don't want it to be gigantic. I want to play a level-based sandbox game with fucking 2 or 3 other people. Like, what is that game? Just Cause.
Oh, Just Cause is great.
Is Just Cause where you can leave yourself open to online and players can sign in as a cooperative guy?
I think now I'm number 4.
Which game was that?
Is it? I'm
pretty sure it was Just Cause, because you can just, like, I had a guy enter a game I played once. He just drove me around the map. I couldn't even talk to him.
And you sit on the car just like jacking.
I was just looking at him and he'd be driving, and it's just like it was the weirdest situation ever.
But I think at one point in a game like that, weren't you saying how like the character turned to look at you? It was like a stupid grin on his face.
Yeah, it was really weird, but we couldn't talk, so I'm just looking at this guy and it's first person. But that's like, if you could do that in Fallout, it's like you can do side quests. You don't have to stick together. Like the map's open sandbox.
You guys might remember, what was that game where there's that one dude? Was it Rust? Is that one guy? He's just like a regular. I think his name is Daniel or something. And he's just like, he seems like he might be a little bit slow. And it's a real dude with a headset on talking to another player who kind of co-ops into his world.
Oh.
And it's like it's kind of like Minecraft, but like a little bit more realistic graphics. And you've got more people who just join up and they can kill you and take all your stuff.
Rust was like that.
I think it's a Rust. And it's got this
There's a bunch like that, right? Like.
Yeah, so this one kid he's playing, he sounds like he's probably about 25, but he's really 12. And then you've got this guy who jumps in, and this kid is trying to introduce him to all of his friends, but this player is really good. And he's just like slaughtering everybody and ruining this kid's life.
Yeah, I actually watched a YouTuber do that where he goes where he'll go help a kid that's not doing very well.
Yeah.
And they'll raid an entire base because he's like this top level Rust player. Yeah.
And then this kid just gets all this loot and he's super happy about it, but it's at the expense of all his own friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's brutal.
But like this, any game where it's like open world sandbox and with a closed server with your friends. That's all. But they never. 76 is this whole other game that's just another shitty microtransaction nightmare.
Well, like Roger's talking about Fallout, or not Fallout, Halo. And like that is kind of like what you guys like about Halo when you play. It's like you're not doing an open world where other people are going to come and screw with you. It's just you and your pals.
I love playing
like you can play, like you can set the matchup anyway. There's so many ways to set it up. It's crazy. Like the Master Chief Collection is the best deal in gaming. You get 5 games or 6 games, and it's all in one collection. Yeah. It's such a great way to play, and and the great thing is that there's no microtransaction. Like one recent game that came out that if that's your type of game, that had made $500 million in sales with no microtransactions whatsoever, was Doom Eternal.
Oh, right.
One of the best games that came out of that past year.
Everybody loves that game.
It could just stand on its own. This is just a great game, and look at Star Wars Battlefront 2. That was the only thing people remember about that game was how bad the microtransactions were.
Brutal. I mean, and wasn't
Doom just sold because it's just a great game.
Yeah, it's a solid closed. You just play it in the world, walk away. But
it knocked people's heads off, man. I don't know. It was crazy.
Wasn't it Battlefront 2? Isn't that the one where like they had to write laws about how the loot system and the loot box system was essentially gambling? Like little kids were being
that's right. Yeah, the loot system was pretty much gambling, and kids were like basically like stealing parents' credit cards just so they could go online and it more hit the mainstream because of that. Whereas like Counter-Strike was really the first real big problem because it was CSGO was like literally just a lottery system where you threw money into a VLT that just randomized items.
God, how gross is that?
And like CSGO was making like millions of dollars off these kids, and like there would be websites where you could go bid on stuff. So then it was like off-track bidding for CSGO items.
That's brutal, man.
And it's like, and there really was nothing wrong with there was nothing illegal about it because it wasn't regulated.
No, it was just it was morally reprehensible.
Exactly, it's disgusting, and they don't know. Like, what do we do about this? These kids are gambling at like 12 years old with for nothing too. You're winning a skin for a gun.
Yeah, you're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
Like
unfortunately, a big game like Battlefront, they're like, well, that works pretty good. Let's see how it goes. But such a mainstream game, a Star Wars property, they're like, we can't do that. It's for kids.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, like have you guys played Jedi Fallen Order?
No, it looks awesome though.
Unbelievable game. Unbelievable. It's on Game Pass for free.
Is Fallen Order? Is that
it's very Assassin's Creed, Star Wars, like
that's the one. Yeah.
Climbing and really good fight techniques.
That's literally exactly what it is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I saw a couple of playthroughs of it, and I was like, man, it's so nice looking, and I love the story idea they have behind it and everything.
It's really cool, yeah. And the combat system is excellent. It's exactly like Assassin's Creed. You're right.
Did you guys ever play the what was the one, the last one where it was the Apprentice, the Unknown Apprentice one, Force Unleashed?
Yes, I played the first one,
and
it was really fun. Yeah, I played repetitive.
Yeah, I played the second one. It's cool having the force power used, and that was pretty cool. But then, like Dan said, it gets kind of repetitive after a while.
I'll tell you, the first one I felt like it was about time. Like you play that and you're like, man, it's about time. There's a fun game out there. And the second one,
a cool lore game with twists and an unknown character. And,
it had some neat powers and being able to the Star Destroyer, holding up the Star Destroyer and shit.
Oh yeah,
that was cool.
Showing people what true power of the force.
You're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They didn't do that enough, in other games, and there was, you remember playing older Star Wars games where it was really just down to a meter?
Yeah,
you got a meter, a force meter.
I think Dark Forces was like that.
Was it? I remember any of them I played. If you were a Jedi, you had a Jedi power meter.
You only had it for a little, exactly. Or you had to get little.
You do have it, I get it, but it's still.
You got to jump up and get the little shiny balls. So you get that's the force. There's always force around the screen. Say what?
Yeah, force recharge.
Yeah, it's a recharge your force.
Oh yeah, actually, Vic, I was in this. This might interest you. So I went on. I was looking for I was getting I wanted to get more games for my Xbox, and I was went on Game Pass, and I was whatever. So then I was oh wait a minute, these aren't the only games you can get if you want to get them, if you want to download. I went on the Microsoft Store on the Xbox, and I just typed. So I got that game River City Girls, which is that updated River City Ransom.
Oh, we've talked about this a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've heard of this.
Actually, you know what?
Great, unbelievable game.
Hold on a second.
Unbelievable game.
I've heard about it. I don't think Dan has. So why don't you just fill him in on the lore behind this thing?
Yeah, so I've heard of this, but not seen anything that. I'm aware of the remake.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's on Game Pass. You can download it there. So yeah, it's just a change of it's just it's River City Ransom. It's done in 8-bit basically, and unbelievable music. So this time around, you're playing two girls, and you're trying to find your boyfriends. And so, but the battles is the fighting style is exactly like River City Ransom.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a great game. Yeah. So yeah, you're just button mashing and but it has 80s style music in it. It's great.
Yeah. This is a synth beat chiptune or beat tune or whatever they call it.
Chiptune.
Yeah. And
chiptune, right?
Chiptune.
Yeah. That's what it's called. Yeah. And so I was I just typed in. So I went to the Microsoft Store and I was okay. I just typed in River, and then I found the original NES River City Ransom that you can download. It cost me $6. Yeah, I found it was for $6. I'm yeah, of course I'll get it.
Oh, for sure.
And then it says. So I scrolled down and it says if you like that, here's the recommendations. Double Dragon was on there.
Oh.
1, 2, 3. All these Nintendo games are on there.
God.
And also, do you guys remember that gaming system based on the arcades, Neo Geo?
Yeah, man.
Course, man.
For sure.
Yeah, all the Neo Geo games are on Microsoft Store that you can download.
Get out of town.
Back when before we had streaming, there was guys on Kijiji for $100 that would sell you an Xbox with the 360, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I have that.
You had the modded 360.
I know a guy. If you want one, he'll load up your Xbox with all this stuff.
Not anymore, but I remember I had a really awesome custom Xbox, like one of those limited edition clear ones that was
oh god,
it had 1,000 games on it. I love that.
Yeah. I still have mine. Yeah.
No, I think I gave it to an ex-girlfriend or some shit. God damn it.
God. Yeah. Always some random ex-girlfriend taking my game shit.
Oh yeah. So I just and then Samurai Showdown, Art of Fighting.
Nice.
And then I downloaded they also had the Contra special editions where has all the Contras that were ever made into one bundle.
Really?
Yeah, if I ever had a game that made my heart race, it would be Contra.
Yeah, the Castlevania collection. There's tons of them on there.
Man,
and
I don't think
the Street Fighter collection, all the Street Fighters ever made, just put into one collection. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think there's been consistently greatest hit games in a row like there was during that the peak of the Genesis SNES era, right to the the beginning, maybe the first peak of PlayStation 1. There was this
in gaming for me anyway.
Yeah, there's this string of games. Yeah. I think you just named them all. From Double Dragon to the Contras to Castlevania, Devil May Cry. They had this weird run that was just immaculate.
Yeah, everyone was putting out games. Well, you know what? I hate to say, I don't know when it occurred. I could be wrong, but a lot of times this is before the shareholders factors fell into play, and it was like, these are $1 million deals now, and they want to do this, and this is quarterly, and you got to release it at Christmas, and and they let the games get made properly before they release them. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then even back then, like when there was a movie coming out, you had games from like the Lion King game on Super Nintendo is still one of the most like alarmingly difficult and fun games that was tied into a movie ever.
I forgot.
Yeah. Look at the Star Wars games for SNES. Like those were incredible.
The Super Star Wars
Aladdin. Aladdin was unreal.
Yeah. I mean, those were.
I remember playing that all the time, like addictively playing the Aladdin game.
And it was platforming done perfectly. Like it was like perfect platforming.
Yeah, because everything was at like smooth, like frame rates. The graphics were excellent. Color palette was excellent. Stereo sound, which was the first in gaming.
Let me tell you something.
SNES was just incredible.
I introduced.
To this day, it's my favorite console.
It is. I think you're right. It is probably like as far as like fun factor and like consistency of like great game one after another. The Super Nintendo was just top notch. I just I just introduced my buddy's kid to Mario, Super Mario. I got Super Mario All Stars. They had it just sitting there for like $40 at the Game City, so I snagged that. And he's 5, so he's kind of got the idea of how to hold the controller and move it around. But then he figured out run and then jump and then stop and then run, jump, stop. And now I'm watching him like pick it up as he goes as a 5-year-old. And it's gleeful for me to watch him like figure out a Mario game. And like when he gets hit by stuff.
I remember you were telling me this. Yeah, that's right.
Oh man.
Yeah, if you've already played it and you're watching them progress, I've never actually had that opportunity.
Man, it's so much fun. I watched him hold the controller. he fell down a little well after Lakitu threw a turtle at him. So like he's running, Lakitu's got the turtle, he freaked out, he ran, he fell down, and the look on his face had to stop me like, okay, well, that's called rage quit, and you're not gonna rage quit. And he's like, he got right back into him, like,
Man, I remember, there were some games, even on Nintendo.
This is my Super Nintendo.
Oh,
what? The classic Japanese one or whatever?
The European.
Yeah, this is a different one, top loading. Yeah, this was a different one.
Well, they were all top loading, but that is...
Oh, right.
That's the pretty one.
Because you remember the power and the reset button were those like kind of bars? And you just like, like this? Yeah, this one's a little bit different.
Well, that's like Europe had those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Right. I don't know why this is sitting right beside my desk, but
I'm glad it was.
The one I had.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's classic.
You know what? You don't blow into them because that puts moisture on the metal and it makes them all corrode faster.
That is true. That is true.
There's proof that doing that is worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where?
Everywhere.
What are you talking about? It always worked.
Good. But you know what? It did always work. But it always worked because he took it out.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like slapping your TV to make sure the picture comes on properly back in the 80s.
Yeah, eventually your TV's not going to go so well. Yeah.
The Al Bundy.
It's just going to break.
The Al Bundy side of the TV smack. The good hard slap to the TV.
That's the Happy Days Fonzie jukebox smash that's evolved over time. It's went from a jukebox to a television to a Super Nintendo.
Oh, good lord.
It worked for the Fonz. It should work.
Well, it works for remote controls for sure. Like, I don't know about like when remote batteries die out and you smack it against your leg real quick.
Yeah,
so it works.
Why? That should be a Mythbusters thing. Why does the remote work after you shake it and hit it?
Just give it a good shake.
You know what the modern day version of that is? Just turn it off and reset. Yeah. And turn it on again. Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch the IT Crowd?
No, I heard of the show, but
it's a great show. It's on Netflix right now, but that is like
it's on Netflix. It's a British show. It's
first thing.
It's actually pretty funny. Yeah.
The first thing Roy, who's like they're an IT group in a building, and the first thing he says, he picks up the phone. Did you turn it on and off again, or did you turn it off and back on again? Because
that's the first thing on the show that starts.
It's the running joke of the show. It's like, did you turn it off and on again? Because like if you didn't do that, I'm not fucking coming upstairs to help you out. Like the first thing you do is
because that looks like remember Sean Ahmed? Remember him?
I do.
Yeah, Sean Ahmed works in IT for like I guess he works in downtown. He works for a major company and he just does IT support and great at it. But he's like I'm just imagining if his life was like that, like he must have the cush job of the century.
Oh God, I think the more I think about IT guys who might have a cushy job. The more I think their day is just dealing with people who aren't as smart as them all day long.
Exactly.
It's got to be the most frustrating job.
Yeah, like you're just like, oh God, like, they hit, hit the start button and hit run, whatever it is, right? And then they're like, oh God.
You know, it's funny. I had a friend he didn't really have an IT job, but he basically worked for a company that their job was to just set up and install like iMacs are they called iMacs anymore? What's the computer that's out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the newest one and like tablets and stuff in the libraries of like colleges or one college.
Huh.
And he's like, I have no like qualifications to be an IT person, and I'm literally then it's like if he's showing somebody how to turn on something. Yeah, like he plugs it in for them, and he's like, "Here's the power button." I'm like, "What's gonna happen to these people after, like, college?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
They don't know how to turn on a computer and plug it in or unplug it."
I've worked in tech support. I worked at Intuit for that. You know that tax software company?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, and you get people call in. They'll be like, all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, just walk them through. Okay, enter here. And do you have your tax form in front of you? Okay, I'm like, sometimes I have to do their taxes for them. Then I'm like, you enter in here and here and here, and then like some people were like, okay, the software doesn't work. I hate the software. I'm like, well, then buy something else. What do you want me to say to you?
Yeah, like
Shut up.
People get mad about that, like it's their only option.
Good grief.
Yeah, go get TurboTax.
But this is the
like,
thing,
I'm like, we own TurboTax too. Like, I don't care.
I don't think, I don't think the people around us, like, for the most part, like, I mean, when we walk outside, we kind of try to think that, we're smarter than people, or we're around the average, so people should know, like, if I'm talking to somebody, they should be able to carry on conversation, they should be able to respond to you, they should be able to have a general idea of if you change a subject, they can keep up with you in a conversation. We think that, but they don't. I think we're surrounded by way dumber people. Like, the amount of people out there who are dumber than we give them credit for.
Yeah, sometimes you have to assume the worst.
Yeah, I think I'm always assuming the worst.
You go too far into a conversation thinking that it's, you don't know it's too far, or you gave them too much information that they're like, I'm not following.
That could be in Klingon, and I still don't understand.
Your level of conversation gives them post-traumatic stress about other conversations that have freaked them out, and they just shut down. They're
just doing that deadpan stare, like, and you think, what did I say that was crazy? Like, maybe I am crazy.
Maybe I am crazy.
Yeah. No, it can't be me. It's the children.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you were talking too fast. Or what's that line from Kevin Hart in This Is 40? 40-Year-Old Virgin. He's like, you know what? You're using too many big words, so I'm gonna take that as disrespect.
I don't actually think I remember that, but that's awesome.
Yeah, I've actually never seen. Is it 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yeah, Kevin Hart comes in.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I've never seen it
before he became famous. So he comes in and he's talking to the black guy at the store, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna need that discount on the house. The guy's like, I can't do that. He's like, come on, man, be my N-word. And he goes, I'm not your N-word. And then he's like, I'm not your N-word. And he's like, well, you're somebody's N-word with this N-word tie. It's like, and then since he's so short, the guy's like, and Kevin Hart's yelling at him. He's like, man, I'm going to come back with the gun. I'm going to shoot all of you. And the guy's like, aim high, aim high, aim high. Because he's so short.
He's so little. Jeez, man. Well, no, but I don't think that's
Steve Carell trying to Steve Carell trying to diffuse the situation. He has no idea what he's doing. It's great movie.
I don't think that's outside of reality. I think there are so many people out there who just they cannot keep up, and they get super frustrated. I mean, if you like you said, too many big words, it's a sign of disrespect. They just cannot keep up. And then they're out there, man.
I think he said the word, let's move forward amicably, and then he's like, okay, man, you're using too many big words, so I'm going to take that as an insult.
Amicably was too big of a word for him to handle.
I'm going to take it as disrespect.
Oh, grief. I'm saying, man.
Actually, you know what? One movie that I just saw the trailer for it online. I was just like, it came out a while ago. We've talked about this movie. That I looked at it, and if you look at it now, you'd be like, how did this is the most all-star cast I've ever seen.
Huh.
Is True Romance.
Oh, True Romance is phenomenal.
Yeah, just crazy.
Wow, unbelievable.
That is a stacked movie.
Yeah, I watched the movie where I saw the trailer. I'm like, I gotta watch the movie again.
Yeah,
I love that Brad Pitt's just couch guy.
Yeah.
Just high as a kite, couch guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Michael Rappaport's bitch, basically.
Yeah. He just sits there and giggles.
He's the stoner roommate.
But okay, take a look at the credits for a half a second there. You got Christian Slater, Rosanna Arquette, Val Kilmer. You've got James Gandolfini. Dennis Hopper. Christopher Walken.
James Gandolfini.
Yeah. Brad Pitt.
Michael Rappaport. What's his name from Balky from Perfect Strangers?
Yes. You got Balky from Perfect Strangers.
I remember that guy's name.
Bronson Pinchot.
You got Saul Rubinek, like pulling out the Canadian cameo out of nowhere.
and what's his face from Black Hawk Down, or from Heat.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Not Michael Madsen. The other Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore. Yeah.
Tom Sizemore. Yeah, what an amazing cast. Like, that is the kind of thing that you see. Like, if you had that, like, maybe a year afterwards, by then Heat would have come out. There would have been a bunch of movies with all those guys in it. Batman Returns, whatever. But, like, for our generation, we were kind of being introduced to Walken at that time. So for us,
watching that, it's like, it's almost like they were already, everyone in the movie that, like, to have Christopher Walken play that part, that's a 5-minute part.
Yeah, barely in it.
They're all like
Gary Oldman, Sam Jackson.
Oh, that's right. Gary Oldman's there too.
Jackson,
for Christ's sakes, like, what kind of a character is that? Like,
because he even said, he's like, I just, he's like, he came in as the character, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. And he's like,
Sam Jackson's even less.
Yeah, he's barely in it.
Line? Yeah, he says 2 lines. He's like, I ate the pussy, I ate the butt, I ate every goddamn thing.
That movie would never get made today. Like in 2020.
So many bad things that would offend people and make people sad, or I don't know what.
Well, fucking, they're smashing Bruno Mars for cultural appropriation. You'd never get this.
Sicilians was so good.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, the thing.
Like, what a way to go out and just plant that seed is like.
Because he knows he's already dead, man. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm going to piss this guy off before he kills me.
Hopper's dead, so I might as well piss him off before he puts a bullet in my head.
Yeah. And he said to the guy, he's like, goes, tell me, am I lying? Because he can tell because remember he said, I can tell when you're lying. He's like, tell me, am I lying?
Yeah.
He goes, because you're part eggplant.
Yeah. And he's laughing, and he's like, you just see it on his face. Oh, so good.
The whole interaction with Christian Slater and Dennis Hopper before that scene, it's like you don't even really know Dennis Hopper, and you kind of feel like there's a strained relationship between a father and son.
Yeah.
But you are so on board after that with Dennis Hopper. And he's in the movie for like 5 minutes.
He becomes the cop he used to be, right? He's like, I'm still a cop, right? Like,
still a cop. But afterwards, like when he has that whole scene with Walken and you know he's going to die, like you feel so bad for that character.
When he asked for the Chesterfield and the music hits, you're just like, okay, he's accepted it, and he's like, this is over. And he's like,
I'll take that smoke.
If I'm going to go out, I got to let this guy know exactly who he is, and I know this is going to piss him off. And so,
the Moors.
Yeah.
Game over.
They did so much fucking.
That scene was actually, he said, Quentin Tarantino said that he actually heard that story from like his mother's best friend, who's the second mother. She was she was black, and she told him that story.
Really?
From like one of her friends who was black, this guy, and he told that basically the same story to Quentin Tarantino. He was like, I'm gonna put that in the movie.
It's so such a it is like a cultural revenge story for anybody who wants to be racist towards a black guy to pull that out. To be like, let me tell you something about you people. It's like, it's a reverse piece here. God. So good.
I don't know who got it worse in the end. So like whether it was Christopher Walken's character where he's like Vincent Carcone, he was like knowing that he's left with that knowledge for the rest of his life.
He's gonna live with it.
Yeah.
Well, and he doesn't like he won't recover his losses, right?
It's gone. He's finished. Yeah. He won't recover his losses, and he's culturally destroyed.
Yeah, and he says, and then he says to him, he goes, "You can look it up.
Go ahead. Pre-Google. Go look that up."
Imagine if he's sitting at home one day and he's like, you know what? And he goes through some book and he's like, fuck.
One day
it's like 20 years later.
Yeah, he's like, that comedian was right.
He's sitting around. It's like it's 20. Let's say it's 2007, and he's sitting around 10 years later, and he's got Google, and he's like, "I'm gonna look this up.
What am I gonna look up?
What am I gonna Google today?"
But he looks it up. He's like, "Are my ancestors blah blah blah?" And it's like,
you know what's gonna be worse though is he's gonna watch
he's laughing like, "Fucking guy was right."
Son of a bitch.
No, he probably shoots himself. He's probably so mad.
He probably just exactly.
Oh, grief. I wonder when I watched that movie, you just said who got it worse? Did Walken get it worse or Dennis Hopper? Or did Gandolfini get it worse or Rosanna Arquette? Who got it worse in that interaction?
Got worse because he got his toilet to the back of the head.
Yeah, but
that was a quick death. But that was a quick death, though. We'll give that.
But Gandolfini,
after that 10-minute fight scene, and then she beats him to death with the toilet. No, that's
Gandolfini got it worse.
He got it worse. He got beat to death by the person he was supposed to kill after telling her how hard of a killer he was.
And he got the freaking thing in the foot. He got the corkscrew in the foot.
Oh yeah, he did not die well. Yeah.
Yeah, she got beat up, but he did not die well. And you know what? For all the gore and gruesome, bloody, natural-born killers level of disgusting violence, a wonderful ending.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like a perfect happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it totally just like, I don't know. One of the big things about the movie I like is it's all tied together, but it's like the situation where, like, Fifth Element, where the two main characters never really cross paths.
Yeah.
Or essentially the ones you think are supposed to be, right? Like, it's really about Walken getting what he needs back and meeting Christian Slater.
Yeah.
But, like, how do they, like they don't really, like, I can't remember at the very, very end. Like, he doesn't actually meet him, does he?
No, not at all.
No, because they say Gandolfini and they do this other shit and it doesn't work out and they get away.
Yeah, they kind of...
he's hands off. Yeah.
He's hands off. Like, the character, the Christopher Walken's character, Vincent, was it Carconi?
Yeah.
And what was Christian Slater's name? He's got a great name.
He does have a great name.
Yeah, it's
he's Clarence Worley.
Clarence Worley, yeah.
So Clarence, you think they're going to converge, but Christian Slater's character is moving towards the big scene, and Walken is like here, and he's like, "You guys take care of it," and he goes away. Yeah, and it never they never really hit each other.
There's no reason for Christopher Walken's character to meet Clarence, whereas like he's just like, you know what, just take care of it, because he didn't know what Clarence's capacity was for violence or revenge or how far he'd go to protect her.
That's right.
So like he didn't know, so he's like, you know what, just send the goon squad in.
Yeah, he's management, man.
It's all the main characters that were not main characters. Sorry, all the people involved in the final big like shootout and stuff obviously are no idea why any of them are there. They're all there for the same reason, and it just turns into a bloodbath, and it's like it has nothing to do with the original thing that happened.
Yeah.
It was meant to be such a simple like recovery. Like just go in there, kill the kid, get the shit, come back.
Yeah.
And like Roger's saying, nobody understood or realized what Clarence's capacity for violence really was.
He's just some guy, right?
Yeah.
They don't think he's going to do anything.
Because it's a love story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a modern day Bonnie and Clyde love story.
Well, that's the true romance, right? That's why it's called that.
Exactly.
But
it's not even
like that's true romance is insanity.
Like Bonnie and Clyde are pretty reprehensible.
That's true, yeah, man.
Like Bonnie and Clyde are from minute one. If you actually know anything about Bonnie and Clyde, they're pretty reprehensible from like the start. There's nothing likable about them. Whereas like these two, Clarence and now I'm gonna forget her name too. But Rosanna Arquette and Christian Slater,
Alabama.
That's right, Bama. They're likable from the like. He might do some weird, violent shit, but he's not doing it because he's like just gonna run down the street and rob a liquor store.
Well, he does it before all this.
Yeah,
right?
He does it for her.
He does it for her.
Yeah, because he's had nothing in his life, and so he's like, she came along and she made him happy.
She's been abused.
He made a conscious decision to change who he was given the circumstances, right? So when he could have died in that house, right?
Oh, for sure. Drexel's house.
He got lucky, man. He got a lucky break.
Lucky.
Yeah, after Alabama takes that beating from James Gandolfini, that I think that drove him over the edge, and he's like, he's that's at that point there was no like either we go all the way or we try to get rid of this money, we try to get and so it was just that's what I loved about that movie so much. It's like there's no everything is 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. There's no compromise or anything. That's what I loved about that movie.
Well, it's like what's that thing we talk about sometimes in music? Like it's we say Hans Zimmer does it with his two tones. When he has two tones that are always rising and falling at the same time, but it sounds like it's always rising. Like he uses a technique, right? Like he does it in Dark Knight. He does it in Inception, where he's got two tones that are always going. So you never feel like, even though it's not really actually rising, there's always this tension building in your neck. And true romance is that, but in like visual format. Like it's always
exactly. It just keeps escalating, even though there's calm calm moments. It's still the whole story is still escalating while the calm moments are occurring, right?
Well, because the calms just plateaus of violence. Like
the calm moments are just there to set up the next violent.
Yeah.
Act.
But they don't know that behind their moments that they have where they aren't stressed out, there's some other group of people doing something, or so the whole thing is, like you said, two different directions are both moving, right?
They're always moving towards like the next major like violent event.
Right. What Dan said is important, is that because even though they're thinking that, okay, you know what, this is gonna be a quick sell, we're gonna go to meet this person, be in a hotel room, do all that stuff. They have no idea that on the other side of where the law is, if that's escalating up and up, and there's going to be more people involved, the FBI is involved, all these DA agents are going to be in there. Like,
well,
it's just,
and Christopher Walken's guys don't know there's cops involved now,
No,
right?
they don't know either.
They don't know anything. They think this is a bunch of amateur losers trying to offload cocaine with another bunch of amateur losers, right? Like, there was, sorry, you brought up Bonnie and Clyde there. There's a new movie, not new, but it came out, I think, in the last 5 years. It's Woody Harrelson and, oh, Christ.
I'll look for it.
Juliette Lewis?
No, it's two cops that have to hunt down Bonnie and Clyde.
You're right.
And they're sheriffs, and one's a retired sheriff, and he's a drunk. It's Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, yes. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And it's Kevin Costner. That's the other guy.
Yeah. It's supposed to be really good.
It is a fucking awesome movie, man. And it doesn't follow them, it follows the cops, so it really puts them in that villain setting where they're bad, and they're murderers, and they're cutthroat.
Is it Highwaymen? The Highwaymen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, right?
It's good, man. It's a great take on the whole story, on the Bonnie and Clyde story.
My buddy Brett saw it, and he's into that kind of stuff. And he said it was, like you said, it's just two guys who are kind of at the end of their career, and they're just, this is the last thing. Just got to go take down these kids.
They need somebody that can track these two because no one can catch them, and the one guy's like, I can get this guy going. The classic bring a guy out of retirement story.
Yeah.
But it's that they're following them, but you never really interact with Bonnie and Clyde, so you don't get to attach yourself to their personalities.
See, I really enjoyed that aspect of the go after the bad guys movie. Like, what was the one with Johnny Depp, the Dillinger movie that came out?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I liked the Stephen Lang.
That's a Michael Mann movie too.
Yeah, it's a Michael Mann movie, but the Stephen Lang stuff, like, I wanted more of that. I wanted to see what his life was like, because like him and he had the old fighter, the wrestler with the mustache, Don Fry. He had Don Fry. It was Don Fry and Stephen Lang as the cops who were chasing. They were chasing John Dillinger.
Yeah,
but outside that first prison break scene, which had the best gun sound since Heat, but outside that prison break scene, I didn't care about him anymore.
Public Enemies.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, Christian Bale's in that too. He's great in that movie.
He was really good, but I wanted, like, there were those two hard-boiled, like, 1950s cops, hats, mustaches, hardcore, no fucking around. I wanted to see where they were gonna go, and I never got that.
Actually, as soon as you said that, I was like, Hard Boiled is another movie I want to watch soon too. Again.
Hard Boiled.
Oh, that's one I haven't watched that in like 15 years.
Yeah, it's
been a long time.
That's probably my favorite cops and robbers movie of all time.
I think the first time I watched that was like Kevin had it in his store.
Get Out. Oh, that'd be a lot of fun watching with him in the store.
Well, I think that's when I ever came across it. Was the first time I ever saw it. That's why I was like, fuck, I probably watched it once like 15 years ago.
If people don't know, we're talking about Chow Yun-Fat.
That's my second favorite police cops and robbers movie since behind like Heat.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. Hard Boiled is pretty good. But that whole era of like Chow Yun-Fat, John Woo, like Asian Chinese cinema was so
now,
good.
Now, here's the thing: are they the ones that came up with that, and it was westernized, or did they see Western action films and were like, we could do that?
I think they were influenced, and they put their own like signature style that was like so influential from that point on.
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think what happens there is you've got these guys who are watching American cinema, and they get like, who was the guy who did To Live and Die in L.A.? But that kind of movie, like they're watching that kind of stuff. And
To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe, William Peterson. It's great.
Is it a cop movie?
Yeah, it's
probably really good, man. Some of those old ones, like Colors. Have you seen Colors?
The guy who did French Connection.
Yeah, he's got a great name.
William Friedkin, the guy who directed Exorcist.
William Friedkin. So you've got like those William Friedkin style movies. You've got all those kind of like hard-boiled cop LA movies, Death Wish and all that kind of stuff happening. I think that influences John Woo, and then eventually they're like, hey, let's make those movies that John Woo's making, and then let's just get John Woo.
Yeah, they just keep cycling off each other because it's like someone takes it, makes their spin on it. It tells the other guy a new idea. He makes his spin on it. It's almost like I really think that's the case. Like I would love to hear the movie genres develop that way.
Yeah, all good ideas come from somewhere.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. Not to get too off topic, but I was just watching this show. It's called the New India or something like that. But they were talking about architects and art design in India. And when you watch it, you realize that there is this weird cyclical thing happening there as well, where all their design right now is influenced by Western design, but they're putting an Indian spin on it. But all the design they're putting an Indian spin on has been Western ripoff ideas of like Indian and Asian origin. So it's like this weird cyclical thing happening where all of a sudden you try to rip off a design that is initially inspired by your original design.
Oh, it's all sick. It's all circular.
So I think that's what happens to these movies as well. It's like you're ripping off Western cinema, which is ripping off your stuff. Like, Magnificent Seven ripped off Kurosawa, and then all of a sudden they remake it with samurai swords. Like, oh, hey, what's going on here? It's like, you just
because the samurai story would not hold up in America, right? So like, hey, well, what can we tell? Oh, we can put that in a Western setting. We know how to do that.
Make them cowboys.
Oh, God. Exactly. That reminds me, man. Like, I just finished Mandalorian, and that whole Ahsoka Tano, that episode with her is essentially just like Yojimbo. Like, that whole episode where she's like,
season?
Season 2.
I haven't finished it, but is that the chick, the sniper? That's alive still?
No.
Or was alive? Like, she came back in the beginning of season 2?
That's season 1, but wait until you get to, I think it's episode 8. It's the episode where Ahsoka Tano shows up. She's the Jedi.
Oh, yes. I did watch that. Where he brings her the baby?
Yes.
Right? She's the orange Jedi lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'm not the best with
it's fine.
Lore, the Star Wars lore. Yeah, no,
it's all good.
Don't worry about that. That was badass, though. You're right.
That episode was just like a straight up, like, Kurosawa Star Wars. It's like talk about like full circle. You rip off one, then they rip off you, and they make you.
Dude, he's Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yep, for sure, right?
Right? Like, that's all it is. And it's cool. I loved that they did it. And they did it so well, and I love the music, and... I don't know. Is there mixed reviews from people about season 2? I'm hearing ups and downs.
I don't think there should be. I thought the entire. I just finished it last night, and I thought the entire thing was
like. Raj, did you watch it as well?
I just watched the first season, and then I have not seen the second season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
man. The second season is just more.
Yeah, awesome. I heard the second season is good.
It's really good.
So far, I liked it. I put it down like 10 other shows I watched, and then I got it. So.
I'm kind of pissed off that even though Disney's like you have to succumb to like Disney's like whatever they want, but like that the fact that lady got fired. Gina
Carano.
I think that was so dumb.
It's dumb. I mean,
it's like they that's a really important character, and it's like you can't figure something else out or work through something with her, or like that's just so easy to cast someone out like that now. Yeah. I didn't realize.
I just felt like it was more. Yeah, you're right. Like I just think it felt more like they made an example out of her rather than trying to like work the problem out. That's kind of I guess that was my big takeaway from it.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's like now she's just a done character. Like she's not used anymore. Or did they kill her off? Like did they write her out story?
I think they're going to write her out.
No action figures based on her likeness.
Yeah. No, I think what's going to happen is they're going to dismiss her entirely. They're going to say, well, she went off to join the rebellion and she's gone.
Yeah, like that's just man. That was never even back in the day. Like man, replacing Aunt Vivian, that was pretty fucking weird.
Super odd,
man. It wasn't like a public issue. It was just actors not getting along with actors, right?
But I agree with like what Rod said. Is that there's nobody's trying to work out their differences anymore, and that's seeping into
just shut everybody down, and like you're ruining opportunities for people and ruining cool show ideas. And,
no, I don't like it.
They just.
Because I mean, I did read a bit of what she said, and nothing seemed so bad that it was like get rid of her because she's a racist monster. It just seems like she said a bunch of dumb shit, and maybe like disassociate her from what she says and like let her finish out her arc.
Well, and like man, you know what? Before Twitter, you couldn't go out and tell 1,000 people what you think.
Well,
these opinions have been around since fucking day one. It's not like this is anything new. If someone says something, they just didn't go out on television. You had to go on television and say shit like that. That'd be the only option. Go on Letterman, tell everyone you're a racist.
Yeah. Like, do you remember?
And no one's gonna do that.
Did you? No. Do you guys know who Oliver Reed was? Like he played Proximo and Gladiator, the old man.
Yeah.
Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see when he was on? I think it was Carson. I feel like it was Carson.
I love that episode that interview was hilarious.
I can't remember who he's with. I think it's like Rosemary Clooney or somebody, but he just like says some shit and she's kind of drunk and Oliver Reed's kind of drunk because that's what they did back then. And then she ends up saying something about how like women empowerment and he's like, yeah, in the kitchen or some shit like that.
Yeah. It was like an interview equivalent of smoking on an airplane.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he say it to like because he was trying to be a smartass, or was he like just that?
No, he's like this is how I feel, and he's like political correctness. He's like what does that even mean?
If I remember it right, she was being really like bawdy, and Oliver Reed.
Yeah, she was being condescending. Yeah, absolutely.
And
so he's just like, I've had enough. I'm just gonna say something that gets you off no matter what.
Well, he didn't.
The filter was just like out. He's like, this is exactly what I think.
It wasn't even quite that. Oliver Reed was like, he was considered at the time to be like a man's man type of thing, and she was saying
Sean Connery of his day. Man.
She was. So she was being really bawdy, and in a way, she's kind of being like a little uncouth. And Oliver Reed just kind of made this point about how there are ways to say what you're going to say that make you sound more like a lady, and right now you're not that.
Yeah, like being on the show with him, being the man's man that he was, she was overplaying it, or like overreaching maybe?
Yeah, a little bit.
So he kind of was like, okay, I'm just going to say something mean to you because it's just you have it coming, like anyone would do, like in any situation where people overreach.
Yeah,
you put them in their place.
Yeah, it's like he was one step below, like he would never like hit her, but he's like he verbally like said like this is what I think.
Like,
and
I'm 4 drinks away from slapping you right now, lady.
Yeah, exactly. So it was Shelley Winters, and she just like she looked at him and she dumped her drink on him.
Well, she had left, and then she came back. She picked up his drink and dumped it on him, and then I think his line afterwards essentially to Carson's like, "You see, do you see?"
Yeah.
And then that got more people on his side. But you can never do that today. Like if you do that today,
like why don't you act rationally and come up with something smarter to say back? You know.
Are you watching it right now?
Yeah, I have it on right here. But actually no. You guys just look up Oliver Reed interview drunk. That's all you have to do.
That's all you gotta do.
Man, isn't it funny how you look back now and everyone's now is like, oh yeah, everyone drank at those. Like, do you remember the freaking Nicolas Cage one where he's doing high kicks and throwing money at people? Mm-hmm. And he's supposed to be like some badass. He's wearing tight jeans. Like they're like, okay, we need you because he's like 25. Yeah. And they're like, whoa, you're crazy.
Nicolas Cage,
like you're playing an actor right now. You're like, I'm Nicolas Cage, actor.
Well, that's like when you see the what's it called, Andy Samberg. You gotta get in the cage. Like his Nicolas Cage character is that version of Cage.
A B C D E F G. Vampire's Kiss.
He's so aggressive, such an aggressive actor. He wants you to know that he's Nicolas Cage with his Nicolas Cageness.
Well, and that was like probably in the 70s too, or 80s. I don't know. One of those really old late night shows. So the guy still had like a skinny microphone.
Yeah.
You know, and they held it like
like the Bob Barker microphone.
The Bob Barker.
High kicks and, like a Bob Barker microphone, but it was brand new.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I do miss.
Actually, I just watched a Nicolas Cage movie yesterday.
What'd you see?
I watched Con Air.
Oh well, that's awesome though.
There's a new. He has a
great movie.
What's that movie he did a couple years ago where he was like
Mandy?
It's called like Meredith or something. He has to rescue his girlfriend from a cult.
Mandy.
Yeah. Mandy. Yeah, that's a good movie.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to watch that. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
But like, man, how does he pull that off? How does he get credibility after all these years?
Well, Mandy wasn't even a big release.
No, it was an indie release, but that gave him a lot of cred, like doing that movie.
Great movie.
He's like the famous Bruce Campbell.
The guy just needs
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Love that guy.
Nicolas Cage just needs the right direct, like even that what was it? Bad Lieutenant Portugal.
Yeah.
He just needs the right guy to give him the right words, and he just nails it every time.
Yeah,
man.
he needs to work under someone who's going to keep him under control and be like, I want it done this way.
Yep.
And I understand you're Nicolas Cage, but I'm like, I got to keep you on a leash.
Yeah.
And so, he needs to be under control. Now where he's flying all like where he's like on Ghost Rider, where his eyes are just like he's looking, he's going to have a seizure or something.
Oh, they just let him have full interpretation of that character, full control over it. It's like, no.
His Ghost Rider,
exactly.
His Johnny Blaze was basically his character from the Wicker Man remake as Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
when you had the bees were attacking.
Now I'm Hot Johnny.
He's Hot Johnny. Now I'm Hot Johnny.
Yeah, he's like, no, man, you're Ghost Rider. No, I'm going to call him Hot Johnny for the rest
Hot Johnny.
I'll tell you though, I was really hoping.
You collect those comic books? He goes, yeah, I do. That's why I can call myself Hot Johnny.
I was really hoping that the end of that last that Ghost Rider season with on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when the bike shows up, I was really hoping they're going to go full Nicolas Cage and have him be Johnny Blaze, but you never saw him.
Yeah. What ended up happening with that? Was that recent?
Yeah, that was like, it wasn't recent, but probably about like 4 years ago. They had the Ghost Rider season on S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay.
And they used the Latino kid, the one who inherits the power and it goes into the car.
He had like the 80s motorbike.
Yeah, well, he had the 80s motorbike. Johnny Blaze did.
Oh.
But the kid who gets it, the Robbie Reyes, I think, right? He has the he's got the not El Camino, he's got the Camaro, I think it's Camaro.
Wait, they made Ghost Rider into a car?
Well, no, it's still Johnny Blaze still has Ghost Rider.
Oh.
But like this version, he has to pass it off.
The spirit of vengeance goes into a car?
Yeah, it goes into a car. And it's actually pretty rad. But in the show, it's really good. In the show,
Johnny Blaze has his own fleet.
Essentially, man. But at one point, you see the kid's accident, how he becomes Ghost Rider. And he's just kind of doing his thing, flips his car, and then the bike shows up, and then you see the boots, and Johnny Blaze brings him back to life and gives him the power.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the first time I ever saw Johnny Blaze on screen, I thought that's where I thought like this guy is awesome. Is remember the 1990s Fantastic Four cartoon? Yeah, remember when Galactus comes to Earth and he's just killing everybody, and then Ghost Rider shows up and he's like he looks at Galactus and he says, "Feel the pain of a billion deaths," and he just does that stare into Galactus's eyes, and he knocks him over. I was like, yeah, and I was like. Either Ghost Rider's awesome or Galactus is that pathetic.
No, man.
Yeah, but that's a really technically the Spirit of Vengeance could stop the Hulk, they said. And that was the elite Marvel characters that said that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But like if he could put that pressure on him, if Galactus is the type of villain that could feel that pain, but what if he's above that, right? What if he feels sadness?
Yeah, because I think he is. Because he felt that guilt like in the beginning but until he had that conversation with Lady Death and told him like this is the role you have to play in the universe.
Right.
And
yeah,
he's
because
like, then he shook it off and he's like, yeah, you're right.
Because Galactus is a force of nature. He, like you said, he has a role that he has to play, so he is above feeling the pain of like a billion deaths.
Yeah. But that would be pretty awesome to do to him or to do to a bad guy. Like imagine doing that to like Darkseid or like Thanos. Yeah. Feeling the pain of a billion trillion deaths.
Thanos could feel it
at once.
Thanos would definitely feel it.
Thanos would be, man. There you go. There's the whole Marvel series just faster than a snap. They just bring in Ghost Rider, get him to scare the shit out of him, and he dies.
I'll tell you though, like that was the one thing that bummed me out about Marvel, like MCU Thanos compared to the comic Thanos, is that he wasn't like the comic book version always takes himself out. He realizes what he's done. He's like, it was all me. I screwed up. I shouldn't have done it. I'm out. How do I kill myself? And then he goes back and lets the heroes beat him.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, he didn't do that.
But the reason why, sorry, Vic, to interrupt, is I guess the reason why they couldn't do that is because there was no Adam Warlock in those movies to show him like.
But even then, you really don't need it. I mean, like if you've got because Thanos always has that moment where he's like, you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss stares back.
Yeah, you're right because like he's like that. They could have rewritten it because that's an inherent. That's one of Thanos' inherent flaws. That's why
always
that's
feels
how
guilt.
him.
He always feels guilt.
Yeah.
At some point, Thanos in the comic always
Ghost Rider's his greatest weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That would be all the guilt.
No one's ever considered. Maybe they have considered that in the comics. I don't know.
I don't remember, but it'd be pretty great to see what would happen if he got the 1,000 or the billion guilts, the snap guilts.
Like in Ghost Rider, if anything, Ghost Rider would be chasing him across the cosmos for all the death that he's caused. Like
friggin' on the bike.
That's
his job.
Yeah, but I don't think his bike has that good of gas mileage. So
no.
I mean, there's no traction.
There's no traction. Lobo's bike.
That's true. Yeah.
Man, Lobo needs a movie.
Did you guys
Lobo needs a movie.
The Dread style movie.
Did you guys watch Krypton at all?
No.
Lobo was the highlight of that show.
Oh, he was on the show?
He was on it for about 2 or 3 episodes, and he is straight up Lobo. Like the guy they got is just perfect. He's not gigantic, but the essence of Lobo was just 100% on board. The attitude, the bike.
He needs to be a character that is like multi-platform. He needs to be able to wander through the Marvel universe. He needs to be able to wander through anime. I don't know.
Lobo. We'll never get him on the screen. He's too
intergalactic
cool.
biker. Dude, he's perfect for Guardians of the Galaxy. He's fucking perfect for that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Imagine them dealing with a guy like that. They would be like, "What is this bullshit?" He's like the strongest man in the universe.
They never. Marvel doesn't have like a good Lobo stand-in.
No,
like they never really had a guy like that.
Yeah,
they're a space guy.
Like they're a space asshole. Like they never had a space asshole.
No, they're Drax. No, not Drax. Who's the other guy? Terrax. But he's just an idiot.
He's a goon. Yeah, Terrax is a goon.
Yeah, they don't have a space asshole. Yeah,
they never had a space asshole. The closest they ever got.
Because Lobo could go to Suicide Squad, just come out of nowhere and just start like.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, like, they would get him, and they're like, I don't know, he's like half alien or something. He's kind of like Superman.
Yeah.
and then he breaks out and kills everyone. Like, okay, how do we do?
Now what do we do with this guy?
Guy. The closest they ever got was, did you guys ever read the What If where Conan came into like 1984 New York?
No.
Conan just shows up in 1984 New York and just becomes Conan. He's like, well, I'll run all the hookers and all the drugs and kill all the cops and eat all the meat. and that's it.
He's in like Brooklyn somewhere. Yeah. It's like some new pimp moved into town and is murdering everybody.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that guy
hideout is a bodega, like it's on like.
Well, they probably found a bar that's really big and put a chair on the stage or something.
Oh my God, because I mean, like Marvel got the rights to
sells weed on the side.
Marvel got the rights to Angela from Image, right? Like Neil Gaiman owned the character, and he took the character over to Marvel. So now she's been in Guardians of the Galaxy. But why not? I mean, you've got Conan, so why not do some weird shit where you launch him into the future, and he's just your space asshole.
Some wizard sends him off, and it's like a heavy metal comic, and it's amazing. That's
right up, straight up. I'm okay with that.
Like the cool, well, like we talked about, it'd be just like the Samurai Jack sword.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with Conan, like legit Conan, but not so far into the future. I want like, or do we want it to be space Conan, or do we want it to be like modern day Conan?
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you just take the Sumerian from like the Hyperborean age, and just put him into 2021, and he's just like.
Or you take him, put him into the future, so he is Space Conan, but then he comes back to Earth during like the current superhero realm.
He goes
so he's like really fucked. He's been in space for like a couple hundred years or something.
Yes.
But he's also lived in Sumerian times forever.
So he's not just like far past knowledge. He's also far future knowledge and current time.
And then came back to a modern day time because he's like, this is the best time for me to be me.
Yes.
And take shit over.
Yeah. I can just run it all.
Yeah. And I want his first line when he lands on Earth is to be his classic line is like, "They're all sluts."
They're sluts. Sluts. All of them.
Men and women.
It is still my favorite scene in movies when Arnold Schwarzenegger for real punched a camel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy's probably like, just punch it. It's fine.
What a savage.
Punching a camel.
What a savage. I think we hit a bunch of stuff. We hit a review.
Yeah, man, it was good.
We had a fun. We did movies. We did games. We covered that one.
We covered our review the best we could.
As best we could. I mean, it was a tough one to do because that movie is so wild.
Yeah, we saw.
Like we were saying though, that one good point, man, is imagine getting a guy like that Ari Shaffir guy or Ari, the guy that does those Castlevania.
Not Ari
Shankar. Ari Shankar.
Adi Shankar.
Adi Shankar.
Yeah. Because he's like YouTube, but then imagine him taking a hold of the story like that and making a very Castlevania animated style show at that. Like,
that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be nuts.
Cool.
That'd be crazy. Castlevania 3. When does the next season come out? Sorry,
I don't know.
Season 4. I think the voice acting is done. They just have to get it. Yeah, just get it animated. But March 19th, Formula 1 Drive to Survive drops on Netflix.
That's
I have no idea what that is.
Well, Raj is really into Formula 1 racing, so he's
like it's actually just the Formula 1 races.
Yeah, Dan, if you want, like it's even if you don't, it's actually a good show if you know nothing about Formula 1.
Okay.
Again, it's actually one of the biggest shows on Netflix.
If you're into sports in general, or like the agony of defeat.
Yeah, just the competition, what goes into it, like the storylines and everything. It's one of the best produced shows on Netflix.
Yeah, it looks really
crazy.
Cool.
So if you're ever curious about like what goes on, and the politics behind it, the cutthroatness of it, it's a great series.
It's pretty rad.
I recommend it. Give it a try.
It is really rad. It's pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen Wayne on Amazon Prime, go watch Wayne.
Wayne?
Wayne. Wayne.
Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Honestly, Dan, it is right up your alley.
Okay.
I think you would really enjoy it.
There's a few shows I got to catch up on too. I still haven't watched all the newest American Gods season. I haven't watched WandaVision yet. I haven't watched. I don't know. There's just so much.
I've got WandaVision queued up for tonight, so I'm gonna give that a look. I got a couple days off here, so I'm gonna go watch that tonight. I think.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna watch something before bed here, but.
Cool.
Yeah, I got tomorrow off, so I'm gonna.
All right, I want to thank you guys.
I don't go back to work until Thursday.
Yeah, just
so
fucking rubbing salt in the wound, huh?
King of the castle.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play video games and work out, and that's it. Nothing else to do.
Eat and punch camels.
Yes.
Backside Attack. Thank you to Backside Attack for being in today. Handsome Dan, thank you for making it out today as well.
I'm best known for watching The 13th Warrior multiple times in one day.
Hey, The 13th Warrior is pretty great too.
It is. Yeah. I watched it twice today.
That's not bad at all. Well, we've already.